Well, y'all, here we gather around the old television or phone, whatever you're currently looking into right now, to talk about more cringe from the Valo saga, specifically from Miss Pawlowski. I have a feeling she'll just keep serving this cringe, and we're here to look at it. Y'all, today I want to make some commentary on this statement, if you could call it that she came out with. There's just no way to even go about starting it, so we're just going to start it. So right at the beginning, she's going into, of course, we would expect this, my God, this news, yada, yada, yada. Right off the bat, we couldn't have seen this coming. We didn't see this outcome. And I'm like, hello, you were just on this whole interview talking about, well, I had thought the worst at one point, but then I convinced myself that no, the zombies are actually rather normal. So I'm just like, well, why could you have never seen this coming? The entire world's literally been sitting here like, girl, something ain't right. So, as you can see, I'm not a big fan of what she's serving. I do think that there's way more involvement on her part, and I think there's some backtracking, and so that's kind of the lens that I'm looking at this, message through. Now, she's grateful for all the people that have, prayed and grieved for the family and all this kind of stuff, but also at the same time, there's this mocking tone to it that she's giving us, like she's trying to shame us. Now, she says that Tylee was one of the wittiest, spunkiest individuals that she's ever had in her life. She says she didn't let people think of her, get to her, and that type thing. And then she says, if you knew Tylee, she would probably be giving the biggest eye roll to all of the drama that is playing out in the media. Right there is where my blood pressure goes boom, 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 boom. I'm just like, how could you say that? She's rolling her eyes at the fact that her and JJ's body were found in apparently a horrendous state. Buried like the family pet, out back at Chad Daybell's. Are you kidding me? And she would be rolling her eyes at that. She's probably thanking the Lord whoever led them to that spot. Now, again, she starts into this whole narrative about, other people are using this whole situation to express hate and this, that, and the other. And, Tylee would, never play into drama, and she used that as like almost a platform for comedy and to make people laugh, so it's almost like she channeled that energy. Well, I mean, just from the little bit that I've heard of the sane members in this, family, extended family, Colby, the Woodcocks, the people who are not Lori and Melanie, is that, Lori was just drama all the damn time. And I think that's a coping mechanism. I mean, you watch my channel, you probably know at this point that I find humor in the absurd. It's kind of one of my coping mechanisms with things. So, that part I get. I'm like, this poor girl was probably so involved in drama. I bet she didn't have any patience for it because her mother had forced her to live through it for probably all she knew. Now, she also says, you know what? I really like the way that Tylee is able to express herself. I've always admired that in her. And in this, Melanie is saying that she is not good at that and that she's not good at doing these statements out here. And I'm going to agree. However, she says, I wish Tylee was here to clear up all this confusion for us. And I'm like, what confusion? Again, her remains were found in Chad Daybell's backyard. Hello. There's not too much confusion. Everybody's basically been calling this out, and this whole thing that this family has been doing about, and again, I'm just talking Lori, Melanie, Daybell, those people, is saying that we're all being kind of crazy for thinking this, but more and more, the crazy things they're saying are coming true. Now, she talks about what a ball of energy JJ was and how brave he was, and, going on rides and got her son to go do it. And then very quickly, she's back into how her family has been victimized by this. She talks about all the betrayals that they've experienced. And she says she feels that only the Savior could understand. And again, I'm just like, why do you keep aligning yourselves with God? Why? I mean, stop. Just stop. I mean, why? Why do all of them need to come out and say this stuff? Again, I've said it one side up and down the next. This is about Melanie Gibbs, her. We are not buying what you're serving. Whatever lessons you're trying to sell, you clearly haven't learned them yet. So quit trying to teach the world something because it ain't all working. Again, she proceeds talking about, trying to live through the worst, news we'll ever get, and how, brutalized her family is being. How the public continues to, twist information and criticize the family. And again, it's this very thing right here that's making the public do that. It does not seem sincere. And I can totally buy somebody who just doesn't, they don't have the right vibe check in a situation. You know what? I've never lived through something like this, so I can't sit here and say how I would react or act or any of that. But there's just some things that I just feel like you just wouldn't go down this path and say this publicly. She ends this by saying, I believe that would make JJ and Tylee smile down from heaven. Let's love others like the Savior would, and let's remember these two sweet little angels forever. I just, again, I feel like she's sliding in little one-liners like that, 10-cent one-liners like that, because it sounds cute and it sounds good. But I don't get a real sense of that. I get more like they're trying to shame us, to be like, look at how dare you people say this. How dare you suggest that Lori might do something? And it's not a suggestion at this point. The evidence is pointing towards that. And again, one thing that just utterly shocks me about everyone involved in this, on this level, I'm not speaking of like Colby and, people who have been actually advocating for the innocent victims in this. It's just their inability to put, number one, their egos aside and say, this isn't right. This doesn't sound right. Maybe I should call authorities. Maybe I should do this. There's that. Then there's also the part of, okay, well, this happened. I'm going to immediately, displace any blame that I might have done this or someone might have done that onto Satan, dark forces, and then instantaneously try and teach everyone about a world of forgiveness about it. It's too soon. It's too soon, and it makes everyone look like totally suspect. Anyways, click the videos over here if you want to see the rest of my commentary on this case. I appreciate you watching, and I'll talk to you later.